Okay, so today we're working on Lesson 17 problem set. In this lesson, you're going to see how you can round each addend to find an estimated sum. This is when you don't need to know the exact answer. Okay, so look at problem number 1A. You have two sections. You have this section A and then section B. And I'm going to start with section A. Okay, and so what they want us to do is take 451 plus 253 and find the estimated sum. So to do that, we're going to use what we learned in rounding and round to the nearest hundred because that's what the directions tell us. Okay, so if I look at 451, that rounds to 500. Okay, and if you need to, you can draw a number line off to the side. Okay, so 451, the lower end point is going to be, whoa, what happened? All right, it's going to be 400. 450 is in between, and 500 is at the top. Okay, so 451 would be right above there. So that rounds up to 500. 253 rounds to 300. Okay, and if I have to, I'm going to draw another number line off to the side. Okay, so here I'm going to put my points on here. So 253, the lower end is 200. You've got 250 in between and 300 at the top. So 253 is above the midpoint, so it's going to round up to 300. So adding these together is very easy. 500 plus 300 is 800. Okay? Well, we have to add 451 plus 253 also. So if you need to, grab a piece of scratch paper and you can use that space to add them. I'm going to kind of slide down a little bit. It won't let me go any further. Yeeks. What happens if I do that? All right, I'm going to make that bigger. That'll be better. So underneath here, I'm going to do 451 plus 253. You can do this however you want. So I'm going to do this using expanded form just because that was the first way we did it, and then I'll use partial sums the next time. So that's 400 plus 50 plus 1, plus sign, 200 plus 50 plus 3. So 400 and 200 is 600, 50 and 50 is 100, 1 plus 3 is 4. So 600 and 100 is 700 plus 4 is 704. So I'm going to write that up here. Okay, I'm going to continue to do each of these problems the same way. So 451 I know from above rounds to 500. I don't need to set that up again. 249 though is a different number than my first problem. 249 I can go back to this number line and it's right underneath the midpoint, so that's going to round down to 200. 500 plus 200 is 700. Now I've got to add 451 plus 249. All right, so I'm going to set that up over here. 451 plus 249. This time I'm going to use partial sums. 400 plus 200 is 600. 50 plus 40 is 90. 1 plus 9 is 10. So I'm going to add that together. I get 690 plus 10, that's 700. Okay, and now the third one in box A. 448 plus 249. Well, 448 is going to be right under the 450 mark, so that rounds down to 400. 249, I know from above, rounds to 200. So 400 plus 200 is 600. And I know my zeros are not looking like zeros there, but that's part because I have to use this stylus. All right, now I'm going to add 448 plus 249. So this time, I'm going to use the algorithm. 8 and 9 is 17, so I'm going to show that like this. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. 4 plus 2 is 6. So this total is 697. That's the actual. So it says circle the estimated sum that is the closest to its real sum. Well, that's this one, because they're exactly the same. My estimate came out to be exactly the same as the actual. This one was too high, this one was too low. Okay? Similarly, you could do the same thing for part B. I'm not going to worry about that right now. If you would like to try that on your own and show me, you can certainly do that. But for part B, it says, look at the sums that gave the most precise estimates. The word precise means exact or closest to exact. Why do you think those estimates were closer to the real sum? So look at this. Why do you think this estimate was the closest to the actual? Well, if I look at my estimates, my rounded numbers, I can see that 500 is only 9 away. It's actually 9 more than the actual. 200 is actually 49 less, for a difference of 40 total. Here, though, this is 9 more. The actual has to round up here also by 47 for a total of, what is that, 56 difference. Down here, I round down, so I'm going to put a minus, by 48. Here, I round down by 49. So 48 plus 49 is, let's see, 40 and 40 is 80. That's 97. So it's a difference of 97. So the reason is that these actuals are closest to their rounded numbers. Okay? So when you have actuals that are closer to your estimated numbers, you get a better estimate. It's more precise. So if I write that down on my answer sheet, I'm going to say the closer the actual addend, okay, that's one of, so those are the two numbers that we add together. They're called addends. Closer the actual addend is to the rounded addend. Oops. I don't want that there. The more precise the estimate will be. Okay? All right. So remember, you can pause this if you need more time. I'm going to move on to the next section. So I'm going to slide this up a little bit. You can still see the answer there. Number 2 says, Janet watched a movie that is 94 minutes long on Friday night. She watched a movie that is 151 minutes long on Saturday night. Part A says, decide how to round the minutes. Then estimate the total minutes Janet watched movies on Friday and Saturday. I like more zeros, so I'm going to round to the nearest 100. So I have 94. 94 is about 100. Plus 151. Well, 151 is about 200. So when I add those two together, I get 300. So the estimated time is 300 minutes. Part B, how much time does Janet actually spend watching movies? Well, if I add 94 plus 51, I can get the answer. I'm going to try the algorithm on this. 4 plus 1 is 5. 9 plus 5 is 14. So I show it like this. See how I wrote the 1 underneath my hundreds section and the 4 goes in the tens space? Now I'm adding my hundreds. 1 plus 1 is 2. So, oh boy. Janet watched movies for 245 minutes. Now, if I had rounded to the nearest 10, 94 would have been 90, 151 would have been 150. If I add those together, 0 plus 0 is 0, 9 plus 5 is 14. 1 plus 1 is 2. Look how close my actual is to my estimate here. So if you round to the tens place, you're going to get a much closer estimate than you will if you round to the hundreds place. You can round however you want to if the problem doesn't tell you how to round it. All right, number 3. Sadie, a bear at the zoo, weighs 182 kilograms. Her cub weighs 74 kilograms. Estimate the total weight of Sadie and her cub using whatever method you think best. Well, I'm going to round to the tens place this time because that's going to give me the best estimate. So, 182 kilograms is about 180 kilograms when I round to the nearest 10. Her cub weighs 74, so 74 is about 70. I have to find the total, so I have to add these two estimates together. 0 plus 0 is 0. 8 plus 7 is 15. 1 plus 1 is 2. So her estimated weight is 250 kilograms. Part B says, what is the actual weight? Well, I'm going to add these two actuals up here together. 2 plus 4 is 6. 8 plus 7 is 15. 1 plus 1 is 2. Oh boy, guess what I just noticed? I have to use a tape diagram. Alright, well, I did my math work already, so let's see. Here is Sadie, and she is 182 kilograms. Her cub is 74, so I'm going to make that much smaller. And the question is, what are they together? Okay. So together, they weigh 256 kilograms. Okay. So we're rounding each addend first, then adding the rounded numbers. They're very easy to add, a lot faster than adding the actuals. And then what we did on the first page was compare which estimates were closest to the actual. Here, on the second page, we're just kind of using word problems to round, add, and then compare to the actual. All right? So come see me if you have any questions. Bye.